maybe we should talk it over.
Hello, Cape Ann music fans. Welcome to our show. This is Local Music Scene, and I'm your host, Allen Estes. And we appreciate you supporting live music here on Cape Ann. And we have a dear old friend of mine as a special guest today, and I'm going to introduce her in just a second. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy our show. But first, I get to do a song. And this is kind of a new song, simply titled, Let It Go. I got a dumpster sitting in my driveway, and tonight I'm cleaning house. Crap's been piling up for way too long, and I'm tossing all that old shit out. I was a mental hoarder, social disorder, till I learned that less is more. Don't try to stand in my way. No, don't be blocking the door. I'm letting it go. No more worries weighing on my mind. I'm letting it go. Leaving all these troubled times behind. And like a long and winding river road, just rolling with the flow, I'm letting it go. I let it go. Oh, I let it go. Oh, I let it go. Oh, I let it go. Looking up, I saw a ray of sunshine peeking through a cloudy sky. I heard the thunder and I felt the wonder of the lightning flashing in my eyes. Oh yeah, as I was humbled, the choir mumbled, blah, 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 blah. They've heard the sermon before. Ain't gonna preach to them anymore. I'm letting it go. No more worries weighing on my mind. I'm letting it go. Leaving all these troubled times behind. And like a long and winding river road, just rolling with the flow. Like an old forgotten good luck charm that lost its magic glow. Like a dreamer chasing rainbows, if I catch one, then you'll know I'm letting it go. Letting it go. I let it go. Oh, I let it go. Oh, I let it go. I said goodbye. Bye, bye, baby, bye, bye. Oh, I let it go. Oh, I let it go. Ha ha! Yeah! All right, folks. Thank you for being on our show. We got a little bit of a live audience here. Hi, everybody. Hello. Thank you for being here. And please say hello to my dear friend, Didi Stewart. Hi, Didi.
Hi, Alan.
So nice to see you. Been wanting you to be on the show for years and years. Didi and I, well, we won't even go tell because we'll give too much away how far we go back, but we go way back. And So would you introduce your piano player, and then we'll have you do a song.
This is the most excellent Mr. Joe Mulholland on
Joe?
keyboards.
Joe Mulholland.
Right.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you for being on the show.
Glad to be here.
Both of these guys teach at Berkeley, and so we're going to enjoy this for sure. But before we start talking, can we have a song?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Great. Didi Stewart. Yeah.
Song about divisions. This is how it ends, how empires crumble, not with a fall, but with a trip and a stumble. One false step, they tumble to the ground, crash, bam, boom, till every domino's down. Mad love singing with whatever they can, cities without pity and a broken heartland. Battle lines drawn, no retreat, no submission. Everybody talks, nobody listens. Yeah. Cosmic war between good and evil, government of and by and for certain people. Truth talkers staring down the barrel of a gun. Sins of the father perfected by the son. Trapped in a world every one of us made. Rich get richer and the poor get played. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, God and religion. Everybody talks, nobody listens. Yeah, yeah. Celebrity, politics, fantasy news. You and me believe in whatever we choose. Clinging to divisions like some consolation prize. Clawing at each other as the flood waters rise. Big ship drifting cause there's no one to steer. Disasters in the mirror closer than they appear. We saw fools gold, see how it glistens. Everybody talks, nobody listens. Everybody talks, nobody listens. Everybody talks, nobody listens.
Yeah. I get the hair back down on my arms. Wonderful. Wow.
Thank you, Alan.
Wow, so great. Oh, great playing, Joe.
Thank you.
So great to have you guys on the show. We go way back from the Boston music scene. Yes. Some of you folks out there might remember Didi's, one of her old bands, Didi Stewart and the Amplifiers.
Way before
And,
cell phones.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You actually had to get in your car and go see you guys.
Yes.
Now, you've been doing this for so long, and obviously one thing that we both share in common is if we were doing it to make money, we would have given up a long time ago, right?
Right.
So we love what we do, and now you're teaching at Berkeley. So, you know, just for the folks out there that are maybe, you know, seeing you and meeting you for the first time, if you can just kind of give us a little synopsis of how, you know, it just, that kind of happened to you, where you are now. Yeah, we're Berkeley, and just kind of like where, you know, where your music was, and because I know you've had record deals in the past, and just kind of give us a little history.
Well, we've all been in the same places, so I'm hard strivers. Got the major label record deal, watched it blow up in my face. It's an old story. Got into a band called Girls Night Out, or put something together, which was a 7-piece all-female rock band. that was a really fabulous band.
Absolutely.
And
you still occasionally do a reunion with them,
once
right?
in a while.
Yep.
Yep. And some of us do little trios and things. We see each other every Christmas. We're good friends.
Excellent.
And more recently, in the last 20 years, I've been teaching at Berkeley, and it just came out of a fluke when somebody called and said, "You want to just do a few part-time classes?" Before I knew it, I was full-time with benefits.
Yeah. Well, I did the same thing. I've done some teaching in Berkeley, not certainly to the extent of you, but a lot of what happened, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, but there was a point in Berkeley where classical and jazz and everything was sort of the element, and violinists and stuff. But then the videos and the songwriting departments and things started.
Yeah.
People started wanting to be more of that, and so those different divisions in the school grew and grew and grew. So they actually had people come to teach there that didn't necessarily have degrees in those areas, right?
Well, they say that 20 years of performing experience is commensurate with the degree.
Oh, okay.
So they're very good about that.
So you got your degree
performers. Well, I do now.
Good for you. Wow, excellent. And Joe, the same for you, or you've been teaching them?
Minus the major label record deal. Didn't have one of those, but I moved to Boston after college with the dream of being a jazz musician, and it's a tough road to hoe also. So I just began to do whatever I could, and through a combination of friends and circumstances, got introduced to Didi at a critical moment in my life, and we hit it off. She was going through style changes, and so was I, and we did some shows together that were incredible, and we ended up working together for 20 years, probably 25 years on all kinds of stuff.
And have you been teaching at Berkeley for 20 years now?
I've been at Berkeley for 24.
No kidding.
So at a certain point I got a little tired of trying to make the phone ring all the time and missing weddings and parties to other people's gigs. So the teaching opportunity showed up and I took it, and it's been great.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, one other thing that we all have in common is that we are, the fall guy for what the bar business is doing and the live music scene is doing. And I mean, there are peaks and valleys in that, and when it's a valley, there's not a lot of work, Yeah.
But I've got students who have heart and soul, and they want to be in the business. They want to do it.
It's got to be so fulfilling.
It is, really. I love them. They're wonderful kids.
Excellent. And I mean, a lot of people think in terms of teachers that haven't always be the badass and go, come on, you need to study hard. Not with a lot of these young people, right, Bad? Because they really want. They crave it like we do. They just want to keep getting better.
They do burst into tears on occasion in the middle of the lesson.
Well, the emotion goes along with the songwriting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're talking with Didi Stewart and Joe Mulholland. It's great to have you on the show, and could we get another song?
Sure. This is called White. Here's to you, you sons of privilege, hanging on tight to a mythical dream of imagined power and glory, blind to the truth that you're not so supreme. Wars to end wars manifest destiny, centuries of slavery, that's some legacy. Why can't we get over ourselves? We're no worse or better than anyone else. It's so sad. All of this might don't make right. Someone tell me what's so great about white. We're all raised with this poison. It's sung on the playground and whispered at school. Vote your fears, and what's it get you? A nation of rubes ruled by liars, thieves, and fools. You say all lives matter, maybe it's true, but that rogue policeman ain't shooting at you.
Beautiful. Fantastic. Okay, wow. Now, those two songs that you just performed are both you wrote, and they're on your new record. Yes. So I'm going to hold this little guy up here. This is Didi's new record, and it's called No Love Songs. Didi, is it okay to call this a concept record?
Yeah,
okay,
I suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
There are no love songs on it.
Hence it's called No Love Songs. But there's some, it's definitely got a bit of a political twist, right?
Yeah, I'm already getting in a little trouble for that. All the songs were written, except for one, immediately after the 2016 election. And I was just disturbed more about the state of the country and the divisions in the country, and people just kind of not communicating. So that was the original idea behind the songs.
Well, I think whether you're a Democrat or Republican or neither, what's the division that's happening, especially when we saw just recently with the government shutdown over the wall and everything.
Yes, right.
You can be for whoever you want to be for, but one thing is for certain, that we got to get over this and we got to come together as a nation, because the division is really what's hurting. And there's a lot of this in those songs, right?
Yes. I mean, the first song is exactly about it. I'm very anxious about this, and I want people to communicate and start talking and collaborating. We're one country.
I know.
So I think that's something everybody can agree on.
You know, it's odd as a songwriter when you write songs and they end up becoming more and more true as time goes by, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
You know?
Sometimes.
So people that watch our show love to hear about the songwriting process. So let's talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind. How do you approach it? Obviously, this has a concept in mind, so you already had some parameters as to what you wanted to write about. But when you sit down to write a song, is there a certain instrument that you like to work on? Do lyrics come to you more easy than melodies? How does it kind of unfold for you?
No instrument.
Yeah.
I have a kind of unique way of writing. I don't use an instrument at all anymore. I used to use the piano, and I'd love to write in sleazy coffee shops. And you don't find pianos or guitars there generally. And there's usually some, radio going on. So they know me. Everywhere I go to write, they bring over the entire pot, not just the cup. They know me by now.
Okay, yeah.
But it frees up my imagination, and I write both music and lyrics without the instrument. And I think that my imagination can travel in some more interesting places without being limited to the keyboard.
Absolutely. Now, do you pace around and sing melodies in your head and sit down with people like Joe and say, what chords would go with this melody?
No, I do that myself.
Okay.
Eventually. I mean, once I have the lyrics and I know what the melodies, I can hear the chords in my head most of the time. Mm-hmm. I'm not what you call an educated musician, but I can hear things. I'm an ear person. Yep. So then I go back to the piano, and then there's the hard work of sitting there and figuring out all the chords and the arrangement.
The craftsmanship.
And then,
of it, yes.
After I feel very solid with that, and I've written a lead sheet, Joe will come and make all the corrections on the lead sheet.
She does great.
Oh, absolutely. Her songs are wonderful. Yeah. So is there the moment that happens to you, like when you're driving in your car and all of a sudden, wait, that is worth, I got to put that someplace. I got to remember
I
that.
haven't had some near crashes. I mean, one in Wayland at 6 a.m. in the morning when I finally got the idea. I was looking for it for 3 months, and I almost went off the side of the road and hit a deer. So it's you have to be careful.
That would have had to have been the third verse then. If that happened. Yeah. Well, but that's the true inspiration, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when it just smacks you right out of there, and you go, wait, this is too good to just let this fizzle off into the space, and hopefully I remember it to write it down when I get home, because you know how many times we've missed that.
Well, that's if you don't remember it, I use that as a criteria for maybe it wasn't that good if I can't summon that melody back up. But I know what you mean, and it's just that feeling. That's why we wade through these horrible days when nothing comes, and then that magic thing happens. Yeah. And all songwriters experience that.
Yep. And that's what people find so fascinating, is when a songwriter knows that through trial and error and through that happening enough times that they know that it's something special for them even to grab. Because I mean, there's we all have our things that we go through every day that we do, all these just mundane things that we all have to do to live our lives, and they all take away from that first burst of inspiration. So you learn through time to how to snag that, right?
Well, it's, as you know, it's discipline. I get up often at 5 in the morning before classes and work on lyrics. And then when I get into school, I feel ready to give myself to my students because I was able to entertain myself first.
Can you shut that off if you've got something going in your head?
You have to.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're late, you have to get to school on time. But that's often I will use those early morning hours to work if I'm really excited about a song.
Very interesting. So how is the record doing? What's going on with the record?
Well, it's out. It's there's interest. It's slow because it's hard to get any CD going. But you know, I haven't been performing in a long time because I've been so busy at Berklee. So I'm just dipping my toe in there. And ultimately, what I want to do is to do a theatrical piece.
Absolutely.
With some of these songs.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's saying this is what it reminds them of.
Well, you've done a lot of that before. Girls' Night Out had some theatrics to it and stuff. Yeah. So, well, and this is the other thing, because on the bottom of the screen they'll be flashing along here during the show, websites and stuff. So we urge you to check out Didi's sites and where you can order the record online, or you can certainly listen to bits and pieces of it and all that, and see what she's doing, because you've been doing it for a long time and you got a great career, and it won't be long before you put another record out. So grab this one while it's hot.
Joe's on it.
Oh, he sure is. He's all over it. It's great to have you on too, my friend.
Glad
wow,
to be here.
this is wonderful. And so, we got time for one more song, but before we do that, you love Annisquam, don't you?
Yes. You sometimes may have seen me wandering around the village, just looking, smelling all the roses. There was a lady who lived in the far corner of one of the streets on the river, and she had a dog, a little schnauzer, and the schnauzer I adopted. So for years and years I would go and that dog would still be there, and the dog would follow me all around town. And finally the dog, I guess, must have finally passed away, but I had this amazing strong connection with this little schnauzer that always pulled me to Annisquam.
Absolutely. Well, I've spent a lot of time in Annisquam. I have some clients that I caretake for their properties and stuff, and in the summertime I used to always love going around the corner and walking by the market, and there I'd see that red hare sitting right there, just right there with all the boats going by. It's such a beautiful spot.
I've been all over the world, and no place is more beautiful and peaceful.
It really is. It's a beautiful place, very quaint, and I love it too. And it's so great to have you on. And we want to get you up here to Cape Ann and perform too. So we're going to see if we can work on that.
Yes.
In the meantime, folks, check out Didi's website. And thank you guys so much for being on. And we got time for one more song.
Okay. Right. Well, I should explain that this is written for, I have many, many friends who have done Kickstarter and GoFundMe campaigns. And whereas I think they're wonderful things, I think they are also ripe for satire.
Yeah.
There you go. Put it out there.
I didn't have the privilege to be born to wealth. My precious little project won't finance itself. True works of genius don't come free. So if you want to feed a starving artist, please fund me. Me and 20 other people share a downtown loft. Can't swing it all alone 'cause I'm still paying off my useless liberal arts degree. Have pity on a suffering soul, please fund me. I need your dollars more than you do. You'd only waste it on iPods and iPads and craft beer and cold brew. One lousy grant wouldn't tilt your world from its axis. You can't even deduct it from your taxes. on support, my creative fixation. I've been rejected by Yado McDowell and the Walmart Foundation. Give me a country, a state, retreat to abide in, and play Prince Esterhazy to my Franz Josef Haydn. Won't you please consider backing this budding superstar? Be generous with your Visa and MasterCard, or I will end it all painfully. So if you don't want my death on your conscience, you'll fund me.
Folks, is a wrap. That's our show. Didi Stewart, thank you so much for being on the show. Joe Mulholland, thank you so much for being on. Wow, best of luck.